Good afternoon, members of the media. Thank you for joining us at this Hollywood Red Sharks media presser. With us, we have our captain, Eben Etzebeth, and this interview is ahead of the URC quarterfinal against Munster, taking place at Hollywood Bets Kings Park this Saturday, 31st May, kickoff 18:30. The floor is now open for questions. Vim, go ahead.
Hi, Evan. I hope you're well. Yeah, just you were out quite a while during the season, and I was wondering, just how the body's feeling since coming back, and if maybe you can give us a little bit of an update, as what it was like, being so long out. Was it frustrating watching? Was it a process was necessary, and was it maybe a blessing in disguise in terms of the workload on the body?
Yeah, it's weird to say that the body is quite fresh because these the knockout stages and there's maximum 3 games left. Only played a couple of minutes this season, or well, at least this year. So it's been quite frustrating. Obviously, with a concussion, there's not really a timeline on it. It's how your symptoms are and how you respond to certain treatments. So I think that was the frustrating part. I think I'll be back maybe in a week's time or two, and then. It's a bit longer, and then eventually got back, and yeah, picked up a hamstring, and I had to set out a bit more. So yeah, quite frustrating, but now happy to be back, and I think it was good to against Scarlets to get that first 80 minutes under the belt. I think when you play a 20 here or 60 there, it's good, but once you finally get a full game of 80 minutes of rugby, you really feel that you're back in the mix.
Thank you, Nicholas. Go ahead.
Thanks. Hi, Eben. You and John Klein haven't had many opportunities to face each other on the field. Are you excited about that matchup?
Yeah, I think we faced each other earlier this season, and then obviously trained with each other for a long time at the Stormers and the Springboks. So yeah, always good to go up against fellow South Africans, and I'm sure there will be once or twice we will probably get each other in the rock, and we'll have something to say to each other in a positive way. But no, he's a good man, a good solid player for Munster, and yeah, looking forward to going up against him.
Thank you. Next question, please.
If no one has anything, could I go again?
Please go.
Yeah, thanks, Eben. The Sharks haven't progressed past the quarterfinals in the URC, but this season's been pretty good. How do you see it? What makes this season maybe different from the past?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm correct, but I think it's probably the first time we hosting a quarterfinal. I might be wrong, I'm not sure. But it's definitely advantage. But we know Munster, I think 2 seasons ago I think they played a semi away and a final away. I'm not sure if they played a quarter away as well. So they are used to playoff success and winning away from home in knockout games, which are the most important. Everything you've done before now doesn't really count. But yeah, it's a good opportunity for us to hopefully push a bit further in this competition. Like I said, with having the home crowd advantage and doing it in front of our fans, it's obviously a massive bonus.
Thanks and all the best.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thanks, Navesh. How's it, Eben? Sorry, Navesh, I was a minute late here, so if this was asked, I do apologize, and you can just move on. But Eben, just on a personal level, how has it been? Any frustration this season? Just a bit stop-start for you yourself? Are you feeling now that you're at a point where going into international season, a nice long, hopefully, free run of anything stopping you. Has it been frustrating, and do you feel you're at a place now where we could see a nice long, extended run from you?
Yeah, well, hopefully, obviously, it was frustrating. Did get the question earlier. Yeah, with a concussion, it's always difficult because you're a bit limited to symptoms. You can't say, like, if you have a hamstring or a calf, you can say 4 to 6 weeks, but with a concussion, it depends on your symptoms. So there were once or twice where I thought I might be back, and then more symptoms and then take a few more weeks off. So definitely not ideal. Like I said, once you get that first 80 minutes under the belt, you're a bit more positive. You feel you're a bit more in it. So hopefully, yeah, can kick on from here and play a couple of games without any niggles or any problems.
Thank you, Gav. Do you want to go with the question?
Yeah, how's it, Navashni? I didn't have a hand up, so I don't know how you knew, but yeah.
You unmuted.
How- okay. How's it, Eben? Just you guys basically sort of ended Graham Roundtree's coaching career at Munster when you played last time. I can't remember what the score was, but it was a very comfortable win. I mean, you wouldn't have been tracking Munster much during the season, but I suppose once you knew that they were going to be your quarterfinal opponents, you must have studied them. How much have they changed since they've had their change of coach, and are they a different sort of proposition now to what they were when you played them in November?
Yeah, look, I think it came down to the last week of the URC. Yeah, we also at a stage we thought we would probably play the Stormers. We'll end fourth, and the Stormers will end fifth, and then I think Glasgow lost their last 2 or 3 games of the season. We ended up third, and from fifth to ninth, it was a bit of a gamble who was going to end where. So yeah, eventually we got Munster, and yeah, we obviously know it's a quality side. They've got a history of playing well in knockout games. Like I said earlier, 2 seasons ago, they went on to win the competition, winning, I think, 2 or more playoff games away from home. So we're very aware of that they can be at their best even away from home. So they're a quality side, and we definitely won't look too much into the past and the past result, where we were obviously came out on top. But I mean, it's a new game. Just a weekend rugby is a long time, and that was more than half a year ago. So yeah, that won't count at all.
And they actually did. You're right. They did play three playoff games. They had to beat Glasgow first. They went to Glasgow, then they went to Leinster, and then they went to Cape Town to win. So that is quite a remarkable achievement. Just for your own team, where I mean, you've spoken about your own frustration, and obviously it might have been because the way I see it, we talk about that Glasgow game, and I was in Durban when you guys played, not Glasgow, sorry, Munster, but I was in Durban when you beat Glasgow as well, where you actually were much better than I think it was eventually quite a close scoreline, but it was a much better game than that from you guys. It feels like you sort of fell away a little bit after that, and I know you weren't involved for quite a lot of it. But what is your perception of like why it sort of fell away a bit? I know there were injuries, obviously, and how do you feel like you're tracking now that you've sort of like you now got to the you now got to the knockouts, and I would imagine that a player like yourself gets quite hungry at this time when you can see that pot of gold at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, look, if you look back, there's probably a few results that we weren't happy with. But I mean, if you also think about, I think it's the highest the Sharks have ever ended in the URC. I think it might be I'm talking under correction now. It's the first time we're having a quarter, so it's actually one of our best URCs yet. Yet we ended third with only Leinster and the Bulls above us. So it's in history it was sort of successful, but obviously, like I said, it's now playoffs. Whatever you did before now, it doesn't really count. So we know we've got our own quarter. We know if we win that, we're staying in South Africa for semi, whether that's at the Shark Tank again or just traveling to the Bulls, which is close. And then, yeah, we'll see if we kick on from that. We don't know where we will be in the final, but that's far ahead. I'm just saying that is the route for us to go all the way. But for now, we're focusing on Munster, and yeah, it's obviously a difficult task. So I'm not looking too far ahead of that. But yeah, I understand. Like the question was how we feel about the season. I understand that some fans might be a bit frustrated. We as players and coaches are sometimes a bit frustrated with ourselves. But yeah, whatever happened before, it doesn't really count anymore.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Leighton. Go ahead.
Thank you, Navashni. Hi, Eben. Hope all is well with you. Just on the last question, do you sort of feel like all these tight games, whether you pulled it out the fire or where you just missed out, those tight games would have been brilliant preparation for what you are going to experience in the playoffs this weekend and then possibly after that.
Yeah, we've seen in the past that the playoffs can be quite a tight affair. We are used to it by now, and I think maybe last season when we ended, I don't know, 12th or 13th, we lost the tight ones, and this year we turn around and we're actually winning them, and that's the difference. A couple of points, and now you all of a sudden have our own quarter. So we used to playing those tight games. Hopefully, we don't have to make it that tight. But yeah, we know, like I said, a quality side, and it's probably going to come down to discipline on the day. Who's got the better goal kicker, and yeah, it's going to be a very close game.
And then you sort of had a bird's eye view over that December, Jan, Feb period when you were on the sidelines of the squad and just the hunger and some of the younger guys coming through. So that must be a positive for you to have experienced as well, seeing those guys stepping up. They might not play this weekend, but they could be called on if you progress further and there's some hiccups along the way. Talking about guys like Tino Mavesere and those guys.
Yeah, a lot of guys got some exposure. What's it for Springbok policy that we need to rest a certain amount of weeks during the season. It gives a lot of guys opportunities, and we even see guys who's playing this weekend. I mean, guy like Ethan Hooker, who's been amazing this season. I think the front row on the bench, they've really grown and put in some great performances over the last weeks when they come on scrumming penalties, playing well in the general play. So yeah, there's a couple of young guys getting more and more game time, and it just feels like the more chances they get, the more confident they get, and the better they play.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any further questions?
Yeah, sorry, Navashni, just one I'd like to
Go for it.
throw in. Just Evan, last year I remember you talking before the Challenge Cup final, maybe it was actually after the Challenge Cup final, about how South Africans hadn't really sort of understood how great a competition the Champions Cup is. And I know you're not playing the Champions Cup now, but like everything you do might be a stepping stone. And I'm sure the Sharks' ultimate goal is to actually play in a Champions Cup final and win it. And I think everybody who watched last week's game on TV would sort of agree with you that it's something that we want to be involved with. How far do you think? Firstly, what did you think of that game? And secondly, how far away do you think that we as South Africans, not just the Sharks, but the Stormers and the Bulls as well, are from being able to challenge properly for Champions Cup silverware?
Yeah, look, honestly, I think we've got the quality of players. I know there's maybe some logistics and stuff that sometimes are not ideal with the travel and stuff, but that's bad excuses. I do feel when we can put our strongest teams on the field, I feel we can compete with those teams, and yeah, hopefully next year we'll be better. Obviously, this year none of the South African teams, I think, even made the last 16 of Champions Cup. Also, it's good that the Bulls is ending second in the URC. We ended third. The Stormers ended fifth. So the draw in the group stages might be a bit easier. Where obviously, if you finish eighth in the URC, you draw strong teams from the top 14 in the Premiership. So yeah, hopefully can have a bit of some easier groups, if we can call it like that, and go on to the playoffs. And I think once you're in a playoff, like Munster did 2 years ago, once you're in a playoff, then you've got a chance. Then you can go away from home, which is still very tough, but at least you're in it, and anything can happen.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
If there's no further questions, media, thank you for your time, and Eben, thanks for yours. All the best.